Dr. Kappa and fellow classmate. We are Group 3, and for our Seminar 6 case study, we are pleased to present the Nestle Lighthouse project, a sustainable manufacturing pilot model. So this case explores how Nestle tested a practical approach to building a sustainable factory by launching a pilot program at one of its UK chocolate plants. So what's different about this initiative is that it wasn't just top-down planning, but instead, Nestle allowed the local factory team to lead, turning the site into a kind of test lab for green ideas. So to give you a clearer picture, let me walk you through a simple explanation of what the Lighthouse project is all about. So why does this matter? Well, big companies, especially in the food industries, are facing growing pressure to be more environmentally responsible. But many still only focus on small improvements like reducing a bit of waste here or saving some water and electricity over there. But these efforts are often scattered and not enough to make a real long-term difference. So what did Nestle do differently? They launched the Lighthouse project at one of their chocolate factories in the UK, but instead of handing down top-down instructions, they let the factory team take the lead. So the idea was to turn the site into a test lab, a place to try out a new green ideas and see what works before rolling it across other factories. So what makes the project stand out is that it covers six major areas of sustainability. So the first one, they are using the saving energy, then they're using less water, cutting waste, and then protecting nature and biodiversity, and then also they also supporting the workers and nearby communities. And lastly, they are studying in the full life cycle of products from making to delivery. So the big picture is to build a real life example of what green factory can look like, one that Nestle can replicate and others can learn from too. So with that background in mind, our presentation today is structured around four key questions to better understand the project's strategy and impact. And with that, I'll now pass it over to Dominic, who will begin by explaining how the Lighthouse project supports the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit.
The term profits is a traditional and historical benchmark in determining the level of success by quantifying economic value created for organizations in shareholders' governance framework. However, in the year of 1994, John Acton mentioned that organizations should also report their impacts on planet and people under triple bottom lines accounting frameworks to derive the final socio-environmental value or profits by which stakeholders can justify the sustainability in alignment with the principle stated in the Butterland report published by the United Nations in 1987, which emphasizing our common future. Throughout the 1970s, the sustainability gained accelerated awareness globally after the first Earth Day being called on 22nd April 1970. Such awareness and continuous growing interest from regulators, consumers, and NGOs eventually drove organizations to look into sustainable manufacturing, and Nestle did carry out a Lighthouse project around 2010. The Lighthouse is a pilot project with the role to bring changes of thinking under multi-level perspective in the areas of energy efficiency, emissions reduction, heat recovery, etc., collectively as environmental impact by deploying the life cycle assessment tools. Furthermore, it is an iterative approach for improvements to attain the overall predefined goal and scopes. The key results from the Lighthouse project are, firstly, the development of 5-hit integration opportunity of 3.77% to 5.72% in energy reduction. Secondly, understanding the cost impact from payback analysis. A mapping of the 6 pillars used in the Lighthouse project for reporting to the triple bottom lines is illustrated in the table, where the traditional accounting profit line is hidden. From the table, stakeholders can easily obtain both the qualitative and quantitative performance measures and the potential area for improvement, for example, water, waste, biodiversity, etc. By capturing these measurable data points, organizations can implement a better controlling process together with an informative feedback loop. Hence, better informed and timely decisions being made towards the strategic sustainability goals. We would like to emphasize again that both the Lighthouse project and the triple bottom lines are iterative in nature to achieve continuous improvement. Again, based on the table, the final socio-environmental profit of triple bottom lines accounting framework can be calculated to determine the success level of the sale in dollar value and its competitive advantage by comparing with other competitors. The availability of comparable data will also help investors, consumers, regulators, and NGOs to act responsibly to attain the ultimate common goal, that is, global sustainability. Before we move on to the next question, we would like to stress that triple bottom line got its limitations, such as lack of generally acceptable conversion measures, that is, the standardized conversion methods in transforming qualitative data to quantitative data, and lack of reasonable assurance, etc. We hope that new common conversion, for example, CO2 emission, can be developed so pricing can signal direction for a better common future.
My name is B.A. Lim, and right now I'm to share on ESG material issues. The first is environmental sustainability. The first, we are talking about energy efficiency. The issue at hand right now is high energy consumption. What's the approach? The approach is to implement heat integration techniques such as the pinch analysis, which aims to significantly reduce energy from 3.77% to 5.72%. The objective is to address energy security issue and at the same time lower on OPEX and reduce emissions. Next will be water management. Water is part of the pillar and plays a pivotal role as food industry is its major consumer. The approach will be educating and promote efficiency usage, including reuse and recycling, for example, rain harvesting. The objective would be lower consumption, which eventually leads to lower OPEX and ending up with higher profits. The third issue on environmental sustainability would be on waste management. Significant waste are generated from production. The approach is to adopt waste management strategy, including use, reuse, and recycling education. The objective is lower landfill contribution, lower costs, and to meet consumer or society demand for go greener. Next we touch on life cycle assessment, LCA. This involves the adoption of the following concepts. A, cradle to grave, that is to determine the environmental impact from its source to end of production. From here, they can identify the critical areas to resolve and improve where there is an issue on environment. Sustainability resourcing. Here, stringent approach in the sourcing of companies' raw materials and packaging with the aim to reduce carbon footprints. Next, ESG material issue would be on social responsibility, whereby number one, it touches on community engagement. The need to recognize and appreciate to engage with local communities and stakeholders. This ensures factories' operations are aligned with their needs and the social structure. Next would be employee welfare. Now, it is a known fact that employees are the greatest asset of the company. The aim is to create safe, conducive, and supporting work environment to foster a sustainability culture amongst themselves. The last ESG material issue would be governance. First, sustainability governance, where it incorporates a governance structure that includes a steering committee to supervise sustainability effort. This committee ensures accountability and streamlines decision-making. Next will be transparency and reporting, whereby emphasis is placed on reporting regularly about sustainability and measures undertaken to stakeholders. The aim is to improve transparency and correspondingly allow their reports to be validated by external parties. Thank you.
Now, let me walk you through the real impact of Nestle's Lighthouse project. Not just what it is, but who it affects and how Nestle brings people along on its sustainability journey. Let's start with who's the most affected. First, factories employees, of course. They are the hands and feet of the project, adapting daily operations to reduce energy, water, and waste. Then, there are Nestle's technical teams, for example, managers and engineers. They design and monitor these changes to ensure success. Externally, suppliers play a crucial role. They share data and collaborate on life cycle assessment. Then they help reduce environmental impacts. The local communities living around the factory benefit or suffers based on how sustainable the factory is. And of course, the customers and regulators care deeply about how green the supply chain really is. So, how does Nestle actually engage with all these groups? First, they set up a factory level sustainability team. These are the on the ground change agents. Then, there is a Lighthouse steering committee that meets every quarter. They evaluate ideas, approve proposals, and track progress. For suppliers, it is all about collaboration, sharing product data, and working together on environmental improvements. Nestle also emphasizes community engagement. One of the six pillars in their Lighthouse model focuses on people and community. This model lets them test innovations locally before scaling them up globally. Think of it as a smart sandbox for green ideas. To wrap it up, Nestle's Lighthouse project is not just about saving energy, it is about people. The company has built a structured way to involve the right stakeholders, test solutions, and turn lessons into real progress. It is a great example of how sustainability becomes something you do with people, not just to the planet. Now, I will pass the session to KH to share our opinions for the question 4. Over to you, KH.
The Lighthouse project focuses on sustainability, aligns with global trends and Malaysia's national policies, such as the National Green Technology Policy and the Malaysia Plan, which emphasize sustainable industrial practices. Our group 100% agree that SMEs can adopt these principles to enhance competitiveness, reduce costs, and meet regulatory and consumer demands for sustainability. However, the ability to implement such initiative depends on overcoming resources constraints and adapting the model to the specific circumstances. SMEs therefore need modification to suit their scale, resources, and operational context. Our group partnered with 8 factors for SMEs to replicate the Lighthouse project. Scale of operation. Unlike Nestle large operations, SME need modular solution by focusing on scalable modular solutions tailored to their production size. For example, instead of complex heat integration system, they could implement smaller heat recovery units or optimize process scheduling to reduce energy use. Technical or people expertise, advanced tools like life cycle assessment may be out of reach. SMEs can partner with local university for simplified LCS or use off-the-shelf energy monitoring tools. Financial constraint. SME often lack capital for big investment. SME can prioritize low-cost, high-impact measures such as optimizing existing equipment, adopting energy-efficient lighting, or implementing basic waste segregation. They can also explore government incentive to fund sustainable upgrades. Collaborative funding models like partnership with large funds or industrial associations could also bridge financial gaps. For supply chain, SME can focus on local sourcing to reduce transportation emissions and collaborate with suppliers to identify sustainable materials that are cost effective. They can also adopt circular economy practice such as reusing packaging, which are feasible at a smaller scale. In regulatory context, SME should align with Malaysia's sustainable goal, such as the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, to access government support and appeal to eco-conscious consumer. Certification like Malaysia's My Hijau mark can enhance marketability. In culture, SME can foster sustainability through employee training and by showing leaders the cost-saving benefit, encouraging buy-in. In technology, affordable options like solar water heater and Malaysia net energy metering scheme can make renewable energy accessible. For data and monitoring system, it is also important as if we cannot measure, we cannot really control. If we cannot really control, we cannot improve. Simple tools like smart meter can track energy and waste, avoiding the need for complex systems. The bottom line, Malaysia SME can adopt the Lighthouse model by tailoring solutions to their scale and leveraging local resources, ensuring sustainable and competitive operations.
Thank you to all my group mates for your presentations. So to conclude, the Lighthouse project at Nestle provides a strong example of how companies can turn sustainability goals into real, measurable outcomes. So first, the project embraced holistic sustainability. They're addressing not just energy and water use, but also waste, biodiversity, people, and then the full life cycle of products. Secondly, it was built around real world testing. By piloting the model at a confectionery factory, Nestle could apply ideas in practice and learn what really works. And then the third one of the most important lessons is the value of bottom up innovation. Empowering the factory team to lead a created faster and more practical progress compared to top down planning. Well, fourthly, on the technical side, the project applied tools like pinch analysis and explore life cycle assessment to better understand environmental impacts across the supply chain. Fifth one, the Lighthouse model serves as a scalable blueprint, something that Nestle can roll out to other factories and that other companies might adapt as well. And finally, this project shows that sustainability can be more than just compliance. It can be a strategic driver for transformation, innovation, and long term impact. Thank you.